once again. Good afternoon once again. Are you excited to be in Nairobi? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So my name is Alan Herbert. I am a journalist, but as well, in my own right, I am a leader. And quite a radical one sometimes. But I'm not going to radicalize the room, but I'm just going to be able to moderate this session so that we can get to hear the hopes, the dreams, and the visions of young leaders with disabilities have for Africa. Are we excited? So I want us to do a small chant, and this small chant is going to go like this. When I say youth with disabilities, you say power, all right? Are you ready? We're going to do this 3 times, all right? You ready? Youth with disabilities.
Power.
Youth with disabilities. Power. Youth with disabilities. Power. Amazing. Moderators, panelists, I have set the room and I have set the tempo. So I want to give you 3 minutes each for you to be able to introduce yourself, tell us the country you're coming from, and a little bit about the work that you do and the kind of leader you are. And allow me be a gentleman and start with the lady. I am a person with albinism, so I might be a little bit colorblind, but I hope this is pink. All right? Let me start with the lady in pink. Kindly introduce yourself, tell us your name, and the type of leader that you are, and a little bit about your work in 3 minutes.
So it's me in pink?
Yes, it is you.
Okay, they
Sorry
said it
for
was
that.
great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Refiloehape Sesinyi, or Fifi, from the beautiful mountain kingdom of Lesotho. So in Lesotho, we identify with different clans, and I come from the Bataun clan, and our totem is the lion. And I'm a strong follower or believe in the philosophy of the lioness. So as a leader, I believe much in teamwork, in being very strategic, in caring and showing love. And above all is the commitment for my community. So in Lesotho, I am a gender and disability rights advocate, influenced by my own lived experiences as a blind woman from very poor rural backgrounds and born and raised by visually impaired parents. And growing up, that made me see a number of discrimination and exploitation. But through the support and of my community of teachers and individuals that were willing and to see the power and the strength within me, here I am today moving and shaking boundaries in Lesotho to ensure that women and girls with disabilities are empowered, have a voice, and are able to change the world. Thank you.
Amazing. Round of applause for her. Haruna from Uganda.
Good afternoon to all of you. My name, I'm called Damba Haruna. I come from Uganda. I am a person with a hearing impairment as well as a physical disability. So I identify very strongly as someone belonging to the disability community. And right now, I am wearing a dark suit, white shirt, and a black tie. I am of medium to dark complexion. I've gotten a little beard on my chins, and my hair is short and well kept. It's an incredible pleasure to be part of this incredible panel of spectacular individuals and talking about this very timely topic about this generation of leaders in Africa. We have had an incredible panel of previous spectacular individuals discussing AI. This is something that we can't ignore, and so very delighted to speak to you about youth leadership and accomplishment and our visions for the future. And thank you very much, Mr. Alan.
Thank you very much, Haruna. And I must mention that I know Haruna since 2022, so probably that is why he gave it back to me very nicely. To you, sir. kindly introduce yourself. I have been directed that let us keep the introduction under 1.5 minutes so that we have some time left for the amazing conversation we're about to have. Take it away. You yourself. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simalumba Nawa, Sima for short. I am from the beautiful, contrasting Namibia in Southwest Africa. I am a black man wearing a black African print T-shirt, a shirt. There is a dead animal on my chest. I'm wearing brown chinos and black shoes. I am the founder and CEO of the Blindspot Communication and Consultants. And our mission and our vision is clear. We want to reframe disability as a competitive advantage in leadership, in business, and in the workplace. A bit about me. I am blind. I acquired my disability 4 years ago. And since then, I've been in spaces like this with like-minded people, enable, and everyone in the disability world. And it has opened my eyes, pun intended, to the challenges, but also the champions that exist in this room. The kind of leader that I am, I like to refer to myself as a leader with no title. And that means I'm not here, or my goal is not to carve my name on monuments, on statues, on accolades, but it is to carve my name and my personality and character on the hearts and minds of people. And I think that's how we transform disability in the African continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nina, kindly take it away.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Africa. So my name is Nina Efedi Okurafo. I am from the Black Star of Africa, Ghana, and I'm Nigerian, so I associate with Nigeria as well, the giant of Africa. Okay, so I am blind, and I've been blind since I was 12, and 2 years later, I was thrust into Ghana Blind Union and leadership roles. I have been in this role, and I acknowledge that I have been very privileged and carefully mentored by people who believed in me and taught me, and felt that I could do a lot. And so the type of leadership I bring on board is that which recognizes other young people like myself, that recognizes that one up can lift one down, and that person can also lift another one under. And before you know it, we are all a group of all leaders. All of us right here in this room are all leaders if we can just help ourselves one after the other. I also bring on board a type of leadership that brings everything one has. So we will not just do our leadership in the boardrooms. We will do our leadership and advocacy on the sports field. We will do our leadership and advocacy on the chessboard. We would use everything we have, whatever skill we have, whether it is to sing, to speak, to teach, to dance, to draw, whatever we can do, we would bring all those skills on board and be leaders and promote the disability advocacy agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. Stephanie, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Egharevba. I'm a Nigerian, and I'm the Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Mastercard Foundation Youth Advisory Council in Nigeria. And the kind of leader that I am is one that does not wait for doors to be opened up for me. I strut through those doors. You know, I'm a leader that listens deeply, I act intentionally, and I refuse to shrink, because I know that representation without voice is decoration. And I'm not here to be decorated. I'm here to make impact. I'm here to lead. I'm here to bring real change. That's the type of leader I am. So thank you very much.
Amazing. My sister from our neighbors, Tanzania, Senkoro, take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Perpetua Senkoro. I'm a Tanzanian human rights advocate with a background in law and policy, but I specialize in gender and disability rights. I'm a kind of leader who is driven by the pursuit for justice, dignity, and a vision for an Africa where everyone will get an equal chance to contribute regardless of their ability or difference. Thank you.
Amazing. Now, because this is quite a huge panel, and I appreciate it for that, I would like, if you have something to say, you just raise your hand and politely answer or respond to the question that we are discussing. And I will start it off like this and ask, there are so many times we are told that persons with disabilities cannot represent themselves. And the question is, can persons with disabilities indeed represent themselves? And also, you could tie in what are the opportunities that exist for persons with disabilities to be in leadership positions. Who would like to go first? By a show of hands. You could also add a voice because I'm short-sighted. Stephanie?
Yes.
Take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Alan. I don't think the question is, can persons with disabilities represent themselves?
And also the opportunities, tie them in there.
Yeah, but I believe the question should be, will they be allowed to represent themselves?
Wow.
Because ability has never been the issue. Opportunity has always been the issue. Access has always been the issue. You know, trust has always been the issue. So I believe that persons with disability should represent themselves. They must represent themselves, because if they're not going to do it, who will do it? Who would represent you? Who would advocate for you, if not you? You know. So yes, persons with disabilities should represent themselves, and they should also be given the opportunities. They should also be given the platform. We lack the platform as people with disabilities. So we should be given the platform to actually represent ourselves. We don't have to worry about about the abilities. We have the abilities. We have the agency. We just need the access. So yes.
What I take away from you is we have the ability, but we need the opportunities to represent ourselves.
Yes.
Nina, take it away.
Thank you. So yes, I do agree. We do have the abilities, and we even have a lot more creative abilities. Again, the opportunities that exist, the conventional opportunities that are being denied us, we are indeed creating them. And I want to encourage us all to create those opportunities for ourselves. Wherever we find ourselves with the skills we have, if you are a teacher, use your platform, use your students, use the people around you. If you're a creative, use your social media handles. Whatever you can do, if you're a sports person, use it. Let's create those platforms for ourselves and move away from merely speaking and begging for spaces, but walk the talk. Speak what we say we can do. Show our action that we can do. We are doing it, and they will chase us. Thank you.
All right. Who would like to weigh into the conversation? Yes, Haruna?
Thank you very much, Mr. Alan. I completely agree with my colleagues, especially about their definition of leadership. And if you could realize, I had a logic, at the beginning, like I was introducing myself, but you never had me mentioning my title, because it is my belief, and I believe that leadership is not merely tied to title, or those big positions. Someone might be coming here and is going to tell you, I am a leader, I am representing this and this organization. We tend to draw more to those kind of people, and we believe they are the leader, they are the ones who are capable of transforming many things. But to me, actually, leadership is not about those titles. It is actually a service, ability to say the gift in other individuals, especially like my dear colleague right there who introduced himself and said he's a leader with no title. It was very, very, insightful. It doesn't require one to have a title to create the change. All individuals are able to create this change that we deserve. We have had an incredible panel right here. People we are talking about those innovations, and are trying to harness the power of AI to change the community. Those are the leaders. They must not be having those big positions. When we are talking about big organizations like UN, the health organization. So someone standing here and you're gonna tell you, I am the director of this and this organization. Everyone will gonna clap because they're gonna realize this person is actually very big. But that's not leadership. Try to ask that person, what are the impact? What has your leadership created that change? Employment. I've had an incredible opportunity to mentor so many people with disabilities. And my background is laboratory medicine. I've had some people coming to me and they told me, Haruna, I want to work in the hospital. I want to really admire that scrub uniform. But when you look at their qualification, their paper, it was very notable that that person would not ever been able to work in the hospital. And so what I did is actually flip that question. Instead of asking that someone, can you do this? Those laboratory tests, can you perform this? You have to flip the question and ask, what do you want to do? And so in that process, you're able to identify their passions, their interests, and that is how I was able to support that someone, aiding their transition into the hospital. They are not doctors, they are not nurses, but they actually support those individuals in their daily routine, and that's how they find their inspiration working there, and so can they care myself a leader in such a way. Thank you very much.
Amazing. And I like the overarching point that every person who is speaking is making. No, it's not necessarily about the titles. It's more about being given the opportunity to lead. My sister from Namibia, do you have something to add?
Oh, me?
Yes. All right. Apologies.
Yes, I agree with what the previous panelists have said. In terms of persons with disabilities being given the opportunity to represent themselves, there's a notion that goes around where people say that, especially allies or those who want to advocate, they say things like, we want to be the voice for the voiceless. Now, that can be a good-hearted sentiment, but it is flawed in its execution, in terms that there's no one who has a disability who's not able to speak for themselves. So the role of allies is to amplify the voices, is to create the spaces for persons with disabilities to talk about their stories, to speak on their lived experience and advocate for themselves. In terms of leadership positions, I think this is also a space where there is a bit of confusion. Just because you're not in a leadership position per se, doesn't mean that you cannot lead right where you are. With the resources you have, with the platforms you've created for yourselves. I mean, look in this room. Not everyone in this room was handed an opportunity by a leader, a politician, a business person. Most of us, if not all of us, had to roll up our sleeves, get our hands dirty, advocate, fight, claw, scratch, scream, and eventually we were able to build enough cachet, enough credibility, enough trust in our communities, not from those who have the power, but in our communities. And that's why we are here standing on the shoulders of those who've come before us. Thank you.
My sister from Lesotho, Fifi.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, yes, definitely. Persons with disabilities can represent themselves, and they really have to represent themselves. And on the question of, are there opportunities for them to represent themselves? Yes, I can say that. It is true, to some extent, there are some challenges regarding the ones that persons with disabilities face, being discrimination or even isolation. But on the point of, yes, there are opportunities. it's up to us as youth or persons with disabilities to look into our environments. I would like to reflect a little on my journey now that even today I find myself as a leader. As I was growing up, after my father died, the relatives sold our home because we are all girls and we are all disabled, visually impaired, and the other deaf-blind at home. So that fueled me to have the desire to support and empower other women or girls with disabilities. And I ended up following a career in social work. And as I was doing social work, I ended up engaging in community voluntary initiatives, starting to collect and donate sanitary towels and other necessary items. And I ended up doing educational and support groups. And it is in those voluntary community initiatives that I ended up having networks of people, organizations, and people across the globe who valued the work that I do and were ready to extend the helping and supporting hand to lift me up. So what I'm saying is, for everyone, there is an opportunity to lead and grow. What is most important is look around you. What is it that you feel maybe it is enabling you or someone within your community? There are social problems, and those social problems, if we take them and take an effort to address them, then we are also creating an opportunity for each one of us to lead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Afifi. And as Perpetua is giving us her views, I would also like to include the audience into this conversation, and particularly young persons with disabilities in the audience. So if you have something that you would like to add onto this conversation, I would like for somebody to be on the floor to be able to pick those views, because this is about us. All right? Perpetua.
Yes, thank you, Alan. While it is important for people with disabilities to represent themselves, and it is good because we are the ones who know what we're going through. We are the ones who are experiencing the reality of having disabilities, so we're in a better position to represent our issues and better explain and convince others to join us in solidarity. But also, it is also important for people without disabilities to also represent issues in some spaces, because they serve as ambassadors. People without disability often have negative views towards us. People without disability often do not understand our situation and often have biases at the back of their minds because of how they have experienced living with us in the communities. So having one of them represent us, having one of them champion our issues also serves to be more very effective as much as we represent ourselves, but having people without disabilities also representing our issues is also effective in changing how other people without disabilities see us and shaping positive attitudes towards our conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Perpetua. I don't know if we have comments from the audience. And as we're planning to take comments from the audience, my panelists, I want you to think about the skills that future leaders need. Are we ready? Audience, do we have some questions, some reactions? Audience? Yes? Mics on the floor.
Thank you, Alan Herbert. This is Eric Ngondi from UDPK.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for a wonderful panel. I think I'm very excited to hear their voices. I just have a quick question, and this goes to the young, brave, bold, and beautiful faces of Africa, to Nina and Stephanie. Young people are also considered go-getters and also, self-drive, as you've spoke. But how are you bending back to pull back to help those that are your age mates, a youth with disabilities, but they are not able to make that agency, that voice that you're talking about? How are you bending back to really bring them where you are? And this one goes quickly to Semi from Namibia, Blindspot. And it's a quick one. Sometimes there's a crash between the issue of ageism, and we hear some older persons with disabilities complaining and saying, you know, the world now is focusing at the youth with disabilities. Indeed, the youth is, the world is disability. 70% of the youth, of the people on the planet, even in Africa, 70% of them are youth. But there's that crash saying that, you know, the youth, the focus is on the youth, and then those ones who are above that brackets are being left behind in terms of opportunities. What do you have to say about that? Thank you.
I hope the panelists have those questions. I will accord you a minute each for you to be able to respond to Eric Ngondi. For those who do not know, Eric Ngondi is the chairperson of the board at the United Disabled Persons of Kenya. So he's very big on leadership as well. We start with Stephanie.
All right, thank you so much for that question. So I just say we bend back by first remembering that leadership is not about heights, it's about depths. And leadership is about going low, listening attentively, going into the quote-unquote trenches, and going into the forgotten spaces and lifting others into that light. You know, we now shift from, it's about shifting from not just making everything equal, but also bringing equity. You know, the point is, we would stop giving everyone the same shoes and now start asking them if everybody has a fit to walk. Because equity means redistributing access. Equity means redistributing opportunities. And equity means redistributing resources to those who have been locked out, who have been left behind. And you can also do that by also designing with, not for. Because you cannot say you want to design for persons with disabilities and then you don't have a person with disability in the room. So how do we bend back to bring those people to the limelight? We invite them, we talk to them, we want to design something for you or for us. We bring them to the table and tell them, okay, this stuff is for us, so we need your input. Because when you input the voices of young persons, you are designing for every single person. Whether they have a disability or they do not have a disability, you're designing for every single person. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Nina, your response, under a minute.
Thank you very much. So for me, it's more about mentorship and dissemination of the privileges that we have, the opportunities that we're exposed to with our cohorts. I'm sure the number of people, young people with disabilities in this room do not represent everybody in our various countries. There are people back home who couldn't get here. We are the privileged few who are here. Can we all pledge that all that we have learned here will not just stay with us? Because if we don't, we would be doing what we are accusing our people of doing, of not sharing the opportunities they have with us. How are we sharing with those who could not get to these rooms? How are we sharing the information we have, the trainings we have with people who are not in the same rooms? How are we encouraging them to dig into themselves to discover how they can do things better, even than us? Mind you, we have all been here saying that it's not about the names that we have, and I love what Stephanie just said. Leadership is not about heights, it's about depth. So if you're looking at not just reaching high, you're looking at depth, then we should be looking deeper into the kind of quality other people bring on board. We cannot do it all by ourselves, but we can identify who sings better than me. I don't sing at all. But who draws better than someone else? Who does better than who else? Or how can we put together our resources and make things better? If we do not share the information, the trainings, the lessons we have with other people like us, of our age, or others who are younger than us, then we will be doing the same thing we are accusing other people of doing against us. Yeah.
My brother from Namibia, thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Eric. The generation gap conversation is very interesting in that it's important that we invest in youth with disabilities because we are future-proofing the continent's resources, right? But now we need to also understand the role of the elders, those who are no longer considered youth with disabilities. What is their role, and what does that look like? Now we're talking about mentorship, we're talking about sponsors, we're talking about coaches, we're talking about those who are going to transfer the wisdom, the knowledge, the skills, the expertise that they've learned to the youth. And that, I think, we can create a synergy and create a sort of like a dance of sorts, where the youth understand that they are able to learn from the elders, and the elders also understand that they have a role and a responsibility to the youth. I think when we start having that conversation, we can have less of a conflict and more synergy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Haruna, Fifi, and Perpetua, I would like to direct this question to you that I had posed initially. What skills do future leaders need to possess? Because the landscape is changing by the day. Yeah? How and what skills should we be learning to make sure that we are ready for the leadership positions that we are pushing ourselves in? Who would like to go first? Perpetua?
Thank you, Alan. One skill that I really put emphasis upon is integrity. Being able to say that I've done this honestly, with a clear conscience, and with empathy, wearing the shoes of other people. You know, in the disability community, we tend to treat disability as a pool. And if we are dealing with, if we are people with disability ourselves, let's say I'm a person with albinism, then I tend to amplify issues pertaining to albinism alone, forgetting other groups that also exist. I don't even take effort to learn the issues pertaining to other groups of persons with disabilities. But empathy is taking time to understand others and wearing their shoes, and equally representing their issues as if I were them. So as leaders with disabilities, let us lead with empathy. Let us represent other groups also other than ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Perpetua. Fifi?
So from my end, the skills that I believe youth with disabilities would need, one is the use of technology. Looking at my journey and many that has been said, technology has played a key role. We could have not achieved much if we didn't have the aid of different assistive technologies, and the way the technology makes all the information accessible and much easier for us to reach. So having those skills, of which many with disabilities, reflecting back in Lesotho, did not have the privilege to have, to be taught or be exposed to. So that if we are all capacitated, that would be helpful. So the second one is for youth to be taught the value of community service. If they are given that skills of how they can serve our different communities from different angles, considering the intersectionality of various oppressive power structures, that would help them to tackle different problems and not just find themselves in the position of leadership, but also cater for our different needs considering our different backgrounds. Yeah, I think I can say that too. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Fifi. As I'm giving an opportunity to Damba, I would like to hear from another youth within the audience. So get ready to give us a question or a comment in a few. Damba, what is your take? What skills do we need to harness?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Alan. Just a very straight and a short answer. I think this is the person we need, is the person who is able to identify the goodness, the talent, or the gift from someone, and then being able to support that someone to share those gifts or those talents to the community. So let's set an example. You must be here, you must have a talent in music, you must have a talent in football. But if you do not have a right mentor who appreciates those talents, they are good as nothing. So a good leader should be able to identify those talents in you and support you to share those skills with the community, and hopefully in ways that empower yourself as well as the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am told we might not be able to take a view or a question from the audience, but to edge closer to the winding down of this panel, I want to give the opportunity to the panelists. Within 30 seconds, tell us, what does the future look like for leaders with, and particularly young leaders with disabilities on the African continent? Who would like to go first?
Can I go?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so in 30 seconds, the future of leadership for young persons with disabilities is very bright. Because now more than ever in history, we have a lot of information at our fingertips. We have technology. We have access to laws. We have access to more other people with disabilities and a wider community of people who understand inclusion more than our earlier cohorts began with. And so we should learn to harness these resources. We should learn to use our academic, professional, and personal resources to launch into the next field of work and advocacy that we want to do as young people. We shouldn't just sit down in our own small space and work only with persons with disabilities. We should develop the skills to work with other people who are not disabled. We should know how to bring other organizations together and, like I said earlier, bring everything we have on the table to push the agenda forward. Thank you.
Stephanie?
All right, thank you so much. The future of the leaders, to me, it looks tech-enabled. It looks tech-enabled with all the technology that we have right now, the AI, the assistive technology. We know that now those things exist, and now persons with disability have agency. And now they can do and chase that dream that they have. They can chase that idea that they have, knowing fully well that they have something that is supporting them. They have something that they are not disadvantaged anymore. They are now at an advantage. They can now run the same race with every single person. And they will say, and the future is looking, not just being inclusive, but now persons with disability will be at the table by default. That is the future.
Thank you very much. Perpetua.
I see a bigger movement. I see more people with disabilities empowered. So I see a stronger voice, and we're taken more seriously by other people who often see us as less human, often discriminate us, but I see change, positive change towards people with disabilities.
Thank you very much. My brother from Namibia.
Thank you so much. The future for youth with disabilities is definitely positive. I think the few advantages we have is perspective. We have examples all throughout Africa, all throughout the world, of what not to do. And that should be enough of an indicator for us in this room to do the right thing. I think one thing that leaders, we need to always remember is that we need to plant seeds, we need to plant trees under whose shade we will never sit. Meaning that whatever legacy we leave is not for us. The work we are doing now is for those who are coming after us. So leadership, especially for youth with disabilities, is understanding that it needs to be extremely sacrificial, and we might not see those fruits. We might not benefit from those things. But the point is not to benefit. The point is to be a leader without a title. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fifi?
I see Africa being in the hands of youth with disability. Not just Africa, but the entire world in the hands of youth with disability. Because coming from the community that is often vulnerable and marginalized, we have the potential and the abilities to come up with solutions that can lead to a sustainable future, to a sustainable world, to a well-developed Africa, the Africa that we all want and the world that we want. So I see Africa in the hands of us, youth with disability.
Damba, the shortest time possible. We are short of time.
Actually, with all the development that we see, especially with the advancement in AI, the future looks bright. But then have gotten to reminisce over the famous word of Oswald Spengler, who said, after the highest point is reached, the decline begins. Thank you.
All right. Before you give us a standing ovation that these young leaders deserve, I would like to add something very small onto the amazing things that they have said. I have attended 5 of the 6 Inclusive Africa conferences. Last year, I had an opportunity to moderate sessions on as the conference was ongoing. This year, I have a rare opportunity to be standing on this stage. What I would like to tell all of you young leaders in this room, keep showing up, keep knocking until something happens. The standing ovation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.